Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video we got another VOD review and we're going to be looking at Mars's run at Genesis 7, which in my opinion is the best Smash Ultimate anyone has played relative for the time. Obviously if you put these two players in the way they were in current day Smash, they would get, thrashed. And I do think that MKLEO's run at LSI does deserve an honorable mention, but I think Mars was playing exceptionally throughout this tournament. So we're going to be going from his winner's quarter sets and onward to figure out how he did it. And immediately in his set with Meister, you see Mars going for some very apparent conditioning, just making his opponent aware of an option that he has. At least I think that's what he's doing. Maybe just had a very specific game plan here. But the point of these videos are to give pro players credit that they probably don't deserve. So you're going to see he does two side Bs in a row against Meister trying to do a smash attack. And then he does this third side B right here, manages to get that extension hitbox by holding down B as well. So very clearly Mars wants to get into Meister's head that, hey, this is a tool that I am going to be actively using. You have to be aware of this. And I think especially against early metagame watch where this character was throwing out a lot of those forward air smash attacks like crazy. That's why Meister had such a massive prominence, because he was so good at finding those hits with the smash attack. But if you're able to threat the plasma and say, hey, if you go for this, I'm going to get either a combo move on you or a kill move on you, then it definitely discourages Meister from blowing out those really scary smash attacks and makes it a lot easier for Mars to navigate in the neutral. And you're going to see Mars continuing to get value from his side Bs in this second game. Meister is going to call him out there for doing the side B. He's going to overshoot with the dash attack. But after that, you just see Mars, whenever he thinks Meister is going to take a big swing, it's when he goes for the side B. So right here, he thinks Meister is going to swing. Meister swings, and he gets a really nice punish there. Now, he could have gone for a back air in this scenario, especially after he sees this down air come out. It's really just a spacing thing, but this side B isn't a bad option by any means because you're pretty much guaranteed to hit this. I mean, it's really hard to miss. You get to keep your advantage state, and it's pretty much riskless to go for. You can also trade with the back air with key, which wouldn't be bad, I guess, if you traded, but if the key just hits you, which is also a possibility, then you're a disadvantage versus game watch. You give your advantage state. It's just a whole ordeal. Mars prefers the safer option to keep his advantage state, and I mean, it was the right play because look at this up air. As Meister is coming down with the key, you have Mars with this. Look at this. He's like hitbox maneuvering ZSS, so her head is going under the key and her foot kicks up to hit Game & Watch on his foot. Look at that. That is a crazy up air to do on a falling target that moves left to right. Like, that's so precise. And if you don't believe me that Mars was getting specific value out of side B in his set versus Meister, then this clip is probably going to change your mind. He goes for that grab there, it doesn't end up panning out. Goes for the side B, it ends up hitting Meister's shield, but you have Mars immediately running in with its aggressive up smash, which is so good because most of the time, if Game Watch is going to punish you, he's going to go for that jump. So the up smash is not only going to scoop Game Watch if he stays on the ground, but it's also going to cover him if he jumps in the air. Doesn't end up securing the stock. I really like this attempt here from Mars. It just barely misses. I think if he just pulled the trigger without landing here, like he's falling to the ground with Meister, if he just pulled it like right here, it absolutely would work, but just a little bit of hesitation right there. Doesn't really matter though. He's at 0%, not any huge risk right now. Goes for another side B right here, but this time he doesn't go aggressively. He knows that he has the entirety of the stage behind him. He can definitely take his time here, so he just disengages from the situation, and he actually tries to punish Meister, trying to punish him with another side B. It doesn't end up working out, but this time he rolls in versus Meister, and Meister is very clearly expecting Mars to just, again, dash away because he overshoots crazy hard with this dash attack. Yet another side B here from Mars. This one doesn't even come close to connecting though, so there's no real interaction after. And then you have this one final side B, and once again, Mars goes in aggressively with this up smash, and this has to be so annoying for Meister. Whenever Mars throws out this move, he kind of just has to respect it. He has to shield it, and then Mars has so much variety he can do after. He can run away, he can be aggressive with that up smash or that frame one jab that he has, he can disengage with a jump. He just has so many options at his disposal that it's okay for Mars to go for this move that's pretty risky because the variety that he has afterward is just making it so Meister can't get a good punish. And you have another beautiful up air to close out this second game from Mars. And this one is even better than the first one. The first one, he gets a little bit lucky with the hurt block shift, I'm not going to lie. But this one is like near perfect. He's coming specifically behind Game & Watch because he does stick out his foot here like an idiot. And the way that ZSS is positioned, she is in no risk of getting hit by this downer. Like, it is not even close to her. And it's just this back hit of the up air that is going to be connecting on that Game & Watch foot. He's going for an advantage state, but he's not going crazy here. He's not taking this huge risk. He's being very precise. He knows that he's not in a threat range, and he's going for this max space up air. If it doesn't hit, it doesn't hit, whatever. Now you get to follow Game Watch to the ground with a back air, presumably, and if it does hit, you win. So, pretty good. And I don't have much to say specifically for the third and fourth games that Mars plays versus Meister because he just kind of loses those games. Of course, he does good things in them, but I just want to use this time to talk about the ZSS Game & Watch matchup because I think it's one of the most interesting matchups in the entire game and how it's evolved over Smash Ultimate. It used to be extremely dominant for ZSS. As you can see, she has a lot of moves that are just outspacing Game & Watch. Things like Nair, things like Zair, things like Side B. It's really difficult for Game & Watch to actually get in versus this character. Her advantage state is really good because you have that precision with the up air. And another thing that ZSS is really good at, and more so modern day Smash Ultimate versus Game & Watch, is her down B just pretty much allows her to nullify the Game & Watch advantage state. The reason the Game & Watch is a top 3 character in this game is because he has the best advantage state in the game. His up air is so difficult to get down versus, but ZSS just completely ignores that factor. And aside from that, Game & Watch doesn't have too many combos that hit incredibly hard because people are getting really good at DIing Nair now. He's usually only finding 2, maybe 3 of those. So it's a thing where ZSS is able to mitigate a lot of the damage that Game & Watch does. Now, the matchup isn't as good as it used to be because ZSS does take some pretty heavy nerfs, and Game & Watch players figured out how to, play their character, but it's just really interesting to see how it's evolved, and I still think it's slightly in ZSS's favor, though she does have to work a lot harder now. And the final thing that I want to show in this Mars set versus Meister, and I honestly think it's the main reason that he won this set, is he wasn't letting Meister take his turn. And what I mean by that is often in fighting games, if I swing on your shield and I miss, or I just hit your shield, I'm at a disadvantage. I'm going to try to disengage because I myself do not want to get punished. That is how normal people react to that situation. Now, Mars, he is no normal person. You're going to see Meister parrying this Zair right here, and he has a lot of options that he can do. The safest one is just going to be, I'm going to disengage. I'm going to run to center stage because I don't want to get, down smash by Game & Watch, up smash there. There's so many terrible things that could happen to you. But he goes for a second grab before Meister has time to even pick an option and immediately pulls the trigger on that up throw, so Meister is not ready for the DI. He's just expecting Meister to do something aggressive. He doesn't know what it is. It could be running in for a grab. It could be a Nair. He could be running up down smashing. But Mars doesn't care. He knows that he is far enough away. He's spaced well enough that if Meister goes in aggressively, which he thinks he will because, Meister just parried something, that punish is going to work. Mars is so fearless in these scenarios, and he's not even letting Meister get started on what he wants to do. Moving on to his next set versus ESAM, and I do think this matchup is definitely worse for ZSS because Pikachu is just a harder target to hit, even though both characters are similarly small. Pikachu is going to be coming at an angle that just really is not that good for ZSS. The only thing she really has is scoop under with up smash, but obviously that is a huge commitment. So the way that Mars gets this opening stock is he Zairs the quick attack, which is crazy. It was just a normal Zair. The fact that it happened to hit quick attack make this even more theatrical, and he very clearly wants to kill him. He's probably looking for an up smash, or rather an up B, but he actually pushes ESAM off the stage, and then he's just dancing around like a maniac. If someone does that to you at your local, you need to call the police because there is something wrong with him. But this is all very intentional for Mars. He's just trying to stress ESAM out. He's just running back and forth, making him feel panic, so he picks an option, and before ESAM even knows that he's neutral getting up, Mars is already going for this down smash. Just Mars wiggling around and running around was enough to make a player of ESAM's caliber so nervous that he just got up into Mars's attack. I don't have a ton to say here, I just wanted to show y'all that call out. He got owned. The next thing that I want to show you is this really nice down smash from Mars. It's going to start with him setting up ESAM onto a platform, which is the last place that you want to be versus ZSS. And the reason that Pikachu is good is because he's able to approach you at a 45-degree angle with Teejal. He's always constantly pressuring you with another move. But when Pikachu's in a situation like this, where he's just fighting you horizontally, he's usually heavily in the disadvantage, especially, again, when he's on the platform here and Mars has the entirety of the stage behind him. He just doesn't have the horizontal threat range unless he goes for a crazy swing with a forward smash, but that's just such a big risk that it's pretty much riskless for Mars to actually go for this pressure right here. And you see ESAM is attempting to get a punish or attempt to get something going here, get himself back into this game, but he just doesn't have enough aerial drift to actually connect with his forward, or maybe expecting Mars to run in, but Mars is just extremely patient. He knows that ESAM wants to swing off the platform, and he just calls him out with this down smash right here. Really nice, again, specifically against a character like Pikachu that is going to be hitting with his face, and then American Sniper actually just destroys him. And the second that ESAM did this side B, he was literally just dead. He goes for a wall jump right here, which isn't a bad choice. Again, he is just 1000% dead in this situation. I think the only possible way that he could have lived is if he just immediately double zip upwards, which I don't think ESAM even knew existed in 2019. So this is pretty much just a perfect checkmate for Mars, even though it looks really scary. Editing for Pluck, I just wanted to mention that it is technically possible for ESAM to survive this one. Instead of doing this wall jump into up air, which is what he chooses, as you can see, Mars gets hit up afterwards. if he does a wall jump into an air dodge, a neutral air dodge specifically, then he would be able to recover. You are able to go far enough as Pikachu even without the double zip. So yes, technically it was possible, but also in the moment, I would never air dodge there in my life. Now, something that I've already talked about in this video is Mars expressly using the same trick over and over again to condition his opponent to be aware of it. But what I haven't talked about is saving a trick for a very specific moment, like he does right there at the side B. You remember that Meister set, we were talking a ton about those side Bs. They really aren't coming out versus Pikachu, but when ESAM feels safe, he doesn't think that Mars is going to be able to hit him out here. He's just lazily recovering back to the stage. He goes out with this aggressive side B and just catches ESAM off guard straight up. He's not ready for it, and it's going to give him the momentum to take this game. And I don't have a ton of analysis for this final stock because it's straight up just Mars going for a hard read. He dances around that T-Jolt, dances around that forwarder, goes off stage, and comes back super aggressively with the flip kick. And this is very intentional from Mars. He's not just holding in with this flip kick, he is max holding out. He knows that ESAM is going to run away. Once again, pinpointing him to a specific position and actually burying him there. And if that misses, he's just like 1000% dead, because that stack is just a guaranteed kill at that percent, especially with that rage on Pikachu. So that call out from Mars either won or lost him the game. Moving on to the SAMSORA set, and the first thing I want to show you is this gorgeous advantage state from Mars, and it's going to start with SAMSORA losing his crucial resource, which is going to be float. I don't know if he goes for a float into item throw there, if he goes for a float back air, it doesn't matter. The important thing is that he ends up losing that float and then immediately burns that jump, which he kind of has to, honestly, because Mars can just, back air him. If he doesn't do that, he's forced to air dodge, and then Peach's drift is just so bad that ZSS is able to follow her in the air, which is what you see Mars do. Real quick though, I don't know how this up air doesn't hit. Like, this is so incredibly close. That's actually crazy. But Mars is just following SAMSORA to the ground, and he probably could have gone for another up air here, just guarantee that advantage state, but he is aware that SAMSORA has no jump, he has no air dodge, and he has no float. This is a sitting duck Peach with terrible aerial drift. So what does he do? Well, he runs under and he scoops up SAMSORA just barely before SAMSORA hits the ground. It's kind of tough to tell if he was actually like super close because of the hitbox, but he was like a couple pixels away from actually hitting the ground here and getting every resource back, but he doesn't. Now he only has his air dodge, is forced once again to burn it just in case Mars immediately swings, and even if Mars doesn't immediately swing like he does here, he's going to get the kill, and if he does immediately swing, he's just going to be able to follow Peach in the air because of how bad the drift is. It's just a win-win situation for Mars once he's able to capitalize on stealing that Peach flow. The next thing I want to show you is Mars threading the needle against this SAMSORA recovery. It's going to start with him pressuring SAMSORA offstage, specifically with this back air right here. And I think the back air is the reason that SAMSORA goes for this really aggressive up B. I'm pretty sure he's just trying to catch Mars drifting into him, trying to hit him with a hitbox, but that doesn't end up working out. And in this situation, it's not a terrible up B for Peach because it's not like she's going to take a crazy punish here. Maybe gets clipped by an up air from Mars. I don't think ZSS is going to jump high enough to actually hit that back air, and you could have Mars going for an immediate up B, but if he misses that, he's just in such a terrible situation, likely going to die because he probably lands on the platform like it's, Peach turnip combo, which is obviously not a lot of fun. But this is not a normal player, and this is not a normal character. This is Zero Suit Samus, who has flip jump, and you're going to see Mars perfectly go between SAMSORA and the stage, just finding that little window where he can get his opportunity and capitalizes on it massively. I was trying to get the frame. I didn't get it right exactly, but you get the point anyways. I really didn't have anything else to add to that SAMSORA set, so we're just going to be moving on to the grand finals, Mars versus MKLEO, and straight up full bias, this is easily my favorite set in Smash Ultimate. It's just such a slobber knocker from start to finish, and it starts off with Leo dealing an immediate 50% to Mars, and he answers back in maybe the coolest way I have ever seen. Just look at this combo. I don't think I need to give you analysis of why that was cool. Just an incredible improvisation from Mars. Uses that up smash to get Leo onto the platform here. Does the forward air and F tilt, which is just like already a crazy combo extension. Just like, good job Mars with this combo, but then immediately swings with that nair before Leo has even touched the ground and steals his stock sub 40% before the hit. Like, that is crazy. This next clip is a similar situation where I don't have some super in-depth analysis because it's just Mars hitting a really nice combo, but I think it showcases how well he was playing at this tournament. He takes the first stock at 40% on the hit, and he takes this second stock at 30% on the hit. He kills MKLEO before Arsene even arrives. That is so hard to do versus Joker, especially on Joker who's on his second or a third stock. Like, Arsene is literally born into a dumpster fire. He didn't even have a chance to have his first thought before he was already dead. That is so tough for Leo. Mars manages to close out this crucial game 1 by hiding a trick till the very end and then pulling out. It isn't even a trick in this situation, it's just the move side B, but you know what, the way he uses it is pretty tricky. So he's going to get hit by the Zaire here, him being Leo, of course. He's going to immediately jump back here, just assuming that Mars is probably also going to jump back here, just trying to reversal him in this situation. Mars goes for the side B the second that he sees Leo going for this jump, and if Leo immediately reacted to the side B, he absolutely could have killed Mars in this situation if he was already drifting in, which would be like an insane person thing to do against ZSS, who has, you know, up smash and up air, especially at these percent. So like a normal person, Leo is just going to drift out because he knows Mars isn't really able to get a punish on me here, because if he runs up, at least I'm gonna have time to, you know, react to it, but he just does not expect this side B at all. And you could tell he doesn't expect the side B because the blue line is going literally the perfect wrong direction. Like, this is the worst DI I think you could possibly have against this side B. Leo completely caught off guard here with his pants down, and it's going to allow Mars to take that first game. And the second game starts off pretty rough for Mars, but he has a massive boon when he manages to hit Leo off stage the second that he gets Arsene. It's a really big win condition versus Joker because the main flaw of the character is going to be this exploitable Arsene recovery, and then we get that, like, the craziest stock trade I've probably ever seen in Smash and probably will ever see. You have Leo going for this aggressive back air offstage, just trying to reversal Mars, and I do think this is a good back air because he's basically covering above him, he's obviously covering behind him, and the stage is keeping him safe here, but Mars is very aware that Leo likes to go for reversals, and he just wants a stock trade. A full Arsene stock versus a ZSS stock at 130 is such a good trade for Mars. He takes the risk, and it pays off in dividends. In order to close out the second game, you're going to have, honestly, a pretty similar situation for Mars, where Leo attempts to go for a reversal off stage, and Mars is just not having. He tries to get him right here with this side B. The two side Bs end up clanking, which is pretty funny, and Leo wants to go for this reversal. And straight up, I go for this reversal too. This is just like a really good reversal to go for, and if ZSS jumps here, she dies. But Mars is piloting ZSS, so of course, he's going to do the correct option, and he flip kicks over this Joker back air, just like, that is so good from Mars. Sends Leo to his grave. He ends up winning that game too because he capitalized on Leo trying to reversal him twice. This third and final game is once again going to start with Mars getting a stock trade, though this is one that he probably was not looking for. So his jump gets clipped by this side B, which is super unfortunate. The hitbox just barely grazes him to the point where Mars actually doesn't get hit by the main side B hitbox that would send you up, and he just falls like a brick without his main resource of the jump. Now, he could immediately react and down B back to the ledge, of course, but you're just not ready in the situation to not have your jump. You literally just jumped, and now all of a sudden you're falling faster than like a meteor. It doesn't make sense. But what does Mars do in the situation? Does he give up? Does he cry? Does he hang his head? No, he is a grown man, and he makes the best out of a terrible situation in a split of a second. Doesn't let the pressure get to him. The crowd doesn't bother him. He knows what he has to do, and he executes on it. That is just like, that's just good, straight up. And this set is going to end where it began, with the side B bait from Mars. It's going to start with him hitting this Zaire on Leo, and that puts Leo in a situation where in his head, he just thinks that Mars is trying to kill him here with a side B. And to be fair, Mars is trying to kill him here with a side B. That is layer 1 of the game plan. He ends up blocking, and in Leo's head, he's like, okay, I have center stage. This guy just used a really laggy move on me. I have Arsene, and I'm MKLEO at Genesis. Like, everything is on my side here, and Mars doesn't care. He just runs in. Leo is not ready for the aggressive option at all, and he catches him off guard once again. The story of this tournament is Mars just beating players to their timing. He's swinging before they're ready. He's saving tricks for later, and he's just calling people out so hard. He played out of his mind at this tournament. Some of the best match, if not the best match that we have ever seen. And with that, I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. It's been absolutely unreal as late. If there's anything I left out, got wrong, or if you just want to say hi, leave a comment down below. Be sure to sub while you're down there, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.